Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Dugout Daily. Before we look at this Champions League blockbuster, make sure to smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't already so you never miss a video. Follow me on X at MCFC Hibs for instant updates with all the links needed in the description. In this one, we're diving into the massive clash as Real Madrid hosts Manchester City in the first leg of our Champions League last 16 tie. This is the 16th instalment of this epic rivalry, and these two giants meet in the knockout stages for the 5th season in a row on Wednesday at 8 o'clock UK time from the iconic Santiago Bernabeu. I'm joined by Dan once again. How are you, pal?
Very good, thank you, mate. Looking forward to it tomorrow. Very, very happy with the. Well, I'm confident, should I say, and quite openly confident. I've been for a while, so let's see how it goes.
Definitely. Let's dive straight into it then. This tie is modern day history in terms of Champions League knockouts, as Real Madrid and Manchester City have faced off 15 times in the Champions League before this game, with a perfectly balanced record of 5 wins each and 5 draws. In the last 11, Real Madrid have 3 wins, 3 draws, and City have. Both teams have scored in 10 of those 11 games, and we've seen at least 3 goals in 5 of the last 6, with no clean sheets for Madrid in the last 11 against City, and City haven't kept one in the last 5. What's your thoughts on that one, Dan?
Very interesting, that. I believe the last time we kept a clean sheet against him was that was second leg of the semi-final, if I'm right in saying. I don't think any of the, but I think both teams have definitely declined since then. In terms of quality, definitely. I think we haven't kept a clean sheet, but the results haven't been too bad against them, I suppose. They always scam a goal through Rodrigo, which they can't do tomorrow. So we'll see who else there is. I'm going to be honest, I don't exactly fear how he's going to come back and buy me, but I don't exactly fear Vinicius.
No,
or what is it? Gonzalo Garcia.
Gonzalo Garcia, probably. Yeah. And then you've got Arda Güler as well.
Yeah, scary. I think tomorrow is ours. I think that's...
Hopefully. Of course, most recently in the league phase on December the 10th, 2025, City won 2-1 at the Bernabeu with goals from Nico O'Reilly and Erling Haaland's penalty after Rodrigo scored for Madrid, of course. City, of course, already have a win in Madrid this season, which could make this game even spicier. Do you think we deserved the 3 points on that night, Dan?
Oh, did we? Did we deserve? Absolutely. I think we did. I think we it could have been about 5-1, I reckon, at one point. Courtois again doing things that he does. He just turned into Superman, doesn't he, every time we play him? So, we absolutely battered him that night. The scoreline doesn't reflect that, but what a night that was. We absolutely battered them, and there was nothing that they could have really done. I think that they had most of their players fit. I think it was only Mbappe that was injured that night as well, and they didn't really lay a glove on us. That will definitely give us a boost going into tomorrow.
Definitely. Iconic moments include City's 4-0 thrashing in the 2023 semi-final second leg. I still think that's our best performance under Pep. Madrid had their dramatic comeback in extra time in 2022. The less said about that, the better. And a 4-4 draw in the quarterfinals of 2024, which Real Madrid won on penalties. It's probably the modern rivalry of Champions League football, isn't it, Dan?
Yeah, I don't think anybody's really come close to it in terms of moments and whatnot. in the last 10 years. I think the only fixture that you could sort of mention that will come close to it would be PSG Barca, and that's only solely on one game.
Yeah.
We've had so many games in semi-finals, quarter-finals, that, and then it's always been whoever wins out of City or Madrid will probably go on to win it. I don't think that's the case this year, but I think that this is the fixture. I mean, we've seen it enough times. I mean, a stupid amount of times that we've played them now, but I suppose that's what happens when you keep going deep into these competitions, and this is theoretically their competition, aren't they? Record winners, etc.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think. No other fixture I can think of really comes near to it.
Of course, whoever progresses from this side looks like we're going to be playing Bayern Munich after they won 6-1 tonight, away from home as well as without Kane. I know he didn't start. I'm not sure if he came on. I didn't watch it, to be honest. But Bayern look a good team, don't they?
Yeah, it looks fun, doesn't it? If we get through. Especially considering that we're also playing every other top six club in England at that point as well, through multiple club competitions and league away, and all sort of that. That'll be brilliant trying to juggle that. I mean, luckily for us, who we're going for the title, as well, they're juggling games like Southampton away and Bodo Glimt, Leverkusen as well.
Tough ties.
Tough time. But I will say this now. I think whoever wins out with City, Bayern, or I'm going to say City, Bayern. Whoever wins out of that will win the Champions League, in my opinion.
Hopefully.
A bit early, but hopefully. I think that will be the pivotal game.
Yeah, definitely. Next up, then, we will look at Real Madrid's form heading into this game. Real Madrid are, of course, 15 times champions of Europe as they chase a record-extending 16th title. But their league phase was rocky as they finished 9th to force them into the knockout playoffs. They lost 3 of their last 5 league phase games, including a heavy 4-2 defeat at Benfica. But they bounced back against Benfica with a 3-1 aggregate win in the playoffs, with Vinicius Jr. scoring in both legs. In their last 11 games across all competitions, they've won 8 and lost 3, but no clean sheet in the last 4. Recent results include a 6-1 thrashing in Monaco in the league phase, 2-1 wins over Celta Vigo and Benfica, but also shocks like a 1-0 home loss to Getafe. At home in the Champions League this season, they've won 4 out of 5 as they've scored 12, although that one loss was, of course, against us. They've reached the last 16 for 23 seasons in a row now and have won 13 of their last 16 ties, often taking the first leg advantage. One of the 2 defeats was actually against us in 2020 as well. What's your thoughts on that, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, they're obviously going to be on strong form in their domestic league, which, I mean, in their standards, they aren't. As you said, they've had a few shocking results recently. However, I think, and obviously in the Champions League, they finished relatively strong. Always going to the Bernabeu is always going to be tough. You're never going to walk in there and get a result without a fight. I'd expect us to get the job done. I mean, as you stated, we are the team that have stopped their winning streak at home on 2 separate occasions. And, we've been there. We've done it this year, not too long ago. It was only, 3 months ago.
Yeah.
4 months ago, it wasn't too long ago. We won there arguably with a weaker team. We always get better throughout the season. And I think they have definitely got worse. You look at their injuries as well. I am not worried in the slightest too much. I expect a bit of a game, but I also don't expect us to have any sort of fear that we have had in several semi-finals, etc. That we have gone in praying for a draw. I think it's a totally different feeling. We should theoretically win tomorrow. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. You never know.
Hopefully, anyway. Next up, then, we will look at the boys in blue's form over the last couple of months. Manchester City are unbeaten in our last 11 across all competitions with 9 wins and 2 draws. In the league phase, we finished 8th with 16 points to secure automatic qualification. Recent domestic form is solid with wins like 3-1 over Newcastle in both cups, of course, the FA Cup and the League Cup semi-final second leg. A 3-0 win over Fulham, although a recent 2-2 draw with Nottingham Forest dropped points in the Premier League title race. In our last 9 games, there's been at least 3 goals in 7, and we've gone 1-0 up in 5 of the last 6. In our last 5 of the Champions League, we've had 3 wins and 2 losses, as that includes wins over Galatasaray, Dortmund, and the key one at Madrid. Away in the Champions League this season has been mixed, but we've won both away games in Spain with a 2-1 win previously mentioned at Madrid and a 2-0 win at Villarreal. What's your thoughts on our recent form, Dan?
Yeah, it's sort of seen throughout the years. When we get to the end of get into that second half of the season, we always sort of seem to improve. We start putting these winning runs and whatnot and unbeaten streaks together, which we have done. So the form at the minute is, as expected, very good. We've not dropped many points. So, bar that absolute nightmare against Forest, I think, we will be very happy with our
definitely
last 10 or so games.
Yeah, 100%. Next up, then, we will look at the team news, starting with Real Madrid, and there's a few big blows for Los Blancos. The big blows for Real Madrid include Kylian Mbappe with a knee injury and Jude Bellingham has a hamstring injury, and they're both expected to miss this one. Joining them in the medical room is Rodrigo, who has recently done his ACL, Eder Militao with a hamstring injury, as well as Dani Ceballos, Alvaro Carreras, and more out. David Alaba's doubtful, and Eduardo Camavinga is back from, I think it was tooth pain, was the reason he missed the recent game, which was bit pathetic, if you ask me. Vinicius Jr., Aurelien Tchouameni, and Dean Howson are all 1 yellow from a ban. Mbappe and Bellingham are going to be big misses for Madrid, aren't they, Dan?
Yep, they're going to be the two players that will end up losing in the game, I think, by not being there, I should say. Look, it's a very, very poor situation for them. I think, it's almost like roles reversed from this time last year. The amount of players that are out. I think their team, looking at it, looks fairly inexperienced in a way, which is weird for Madrid. I know they could have Alaba if he's back, but he's not really a big player to come back in. I think attacking wise, they are really weak, and I don't want to hear anything about Vinicius Jr. because he is the biggest. He doesn't do anything really. He just runs around. So I don't really fear him, and this Garcia fella they've got, I also don't really know who he is, so I can't really comment too much. It's very weird seeing Madrid using the academy. That's all I'll say, and that's desperate times. I've never seen that. So look, I think it's definitely in our favour this year for the squads, and definitely puts us as firm favourites for both legs.
100%. Looking at the predicted team then for Real Madrid, Courtois in goal, a back four of Trent, Asensio, Rudiger and Mendy, with Valverde, Tchouameni and Camavinga in midfield, and a front three of Gula, Garcia and Vinicius. What's your thoughts on that, Dan?
Yeah, looking at that now, the attack for me isn't too big of a deal. The midfield actually looks semi-decent. I think the midfield looks all right. However, I do back ours to be able to get past that. I think that's the worst Real Madrid backline I've ever seen.
Yeah.
You've got Mendy, who was only relevant because he was good on FIFA a few years ago, and Trent, who we all know, whenever he plays against Doku, just loses all ability to do anything. And Asensio shouldn't really be on the football pitch, and enough said. And
the less said about that one, the better.
Yeah, and I mean, Courtois is the only worry really in that team for me. Not particularly that he'll win him the game, or it's just the fact that we could theoretically run rings around him and win 5-0, but with him in net, there's no chance because he will just make 25 saves. He is ridiculous, and he is the only player that I really fear in that 11. Maybe Valverde is the only other player that looks maybe that he'd be able to do something, but apart from that is probably the worst Madrid team I think I've seen. It could be up there against that one in 2020. Was it just before lockdown?
Yeah,
when they were crap for a year. Well, we'll see. I think Ajax, when they were they went there, didn't they? And won 4-1. So
yeah.
When Madrid were crap. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Of course, Ajax are the other one of the two teams that have knocked Real Madrid out of this round, including us, which was the year after. It shows how much of a mess they were in at the time. Next up then, we will look at City's injuries and both of our predicted 11s. For City, only Josko Vardiol with a tibial fracture, as well as Mateo Kovacic and Rico Lewis with ankle injuries, are all out. Erling Haaland was rested at Newcastle at the weekend, but was back in training this week and is set to start. Only Vardiol really would be a miss. Of course, Guehi has come in since Vardiol's injury. So we're going to look a bit more to the future. Do you see Vardiol coming straight back into the team when he's fully fit?
Good question. Very good question. I don't know, actually, because, I mean, Guehi has been fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't think Guardiola deserved to walk back into the team. But we all know Guardiola's quality as well. So I think the centre-back situation come the summer / next season is going to be very, very interesting. I think we're going to be very, very stacked, very, very, very heavily stacked down there. I think we'll have a look at Elaine will probably end up going either out on loan again or permanent. I can see that happening.
Yeah.
But then that'll leave Kusanov, Diaz, Guehi, Gvardiol, brilliant. But in terms of minutes, that's going to be a very interesting watch. Next season, and it also depends on how well and how quick Gvardiol comes back. We've seen it with Rodri. These aren't really injuries that you just sort of appear in 2 months' time and you're back in the squad. Happy days.
Yeah,
this is going to be a thing. You're going to need minutes. He's going to need that pre-season, and I think injuries are going to come because he's going to go straight to America to the World Cup, and he's going to play on those pitches that are just an absolute health hazard, aren't they? So, it'd be an interesting one, but I don't think he does.
Yeah, looking back to current day, O'Reilly and Savinho will be banned with another yellow card in the Champions League, as well as Mark Guehi, because for some reason, yellow cards from the Conference League carry over to the Champions League. How that makes any sense, I have no idea. We will look at our predicted teams then, starting with myself. I've gone with Donnarumma in goal, back five, really. Well, I'd say the whole team. Up to the attack is as expected, really. Donnarumma, Nunes, Diaz, Guehi, Aït-Nouri, Silva, Rodri, O'Reilly. And then I think Semenyo comes back in, Haaland up top. And I think Marmouchi's going to keep his place as well after his brace at the weekend at Newcastle. Looking at your team, Dan, you've gone for O'Reilly at left back, Donnarumma in goal, Nunes, Diaz, Guehi, with Silva, Rodri and Shirky in midfield, 26 on the right, Doku on the left and Haaland up front. What are you thinking behind that one?
My thinking, it's not exactly my thinking. I've gone with Pep's thinking. I think, the back line is pretty much as it was by Gvardiol going there. I think, O'Brien played really well at left back last time, obviously man of the match, etc. So I'd keep him there. That's also the thing that I'd agree with Pep on. I think, I can see him sticking with that sort of midfield with that Rodri-Bernardo midfield duo. Nunes, personally, I wouldn't play, but I think Nunes will play. It'd be interesting. I think you are going to need pace in that back line more than what Nunes has got. So I'd personally be putting probably Kusanov there.
Yeah.
And I can see him. I hate to say this, but I can see him starting Savinho. I said this the second that he had a good game on Saturday. He's probably going to be in that squad now for a while. Probably won't do anything, but he'll be there. Pep seems to love Savinho.
Yeah.
I think Cherky's, he probably deserves a start now. He's getting a bit silly, and I think Doku and Trent, etc. Enough said, and then Haaland will be back. As he was rested. So that's my thinking behind that team.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be interesting, especially with our fixtures coming up as well. I know we both said recently, Aït-Nouri's been playing a lot. There is definitely a world where he gets rested or dropped, however you want to describe it. But with a potential quarter-final looking like against Bayern Munich, we play Real Madrid twice, Arsenal twice, Liverpool and Chelsea in the next couple of weeks as well, which isn't exactly great, is it?
It's lovely. I mean, nice and easy, as you can say. There plenty of time, to rest the players. They won't be getting up and playing every 3 days against the best teams in the world. I mean, as I'd say, it's all well and good doing this, but at least we don't have to go to Southampton, and we don't have to travel to the Arctic Circle in the next round either. As they are the tough games that other teams have got. So look, it's going to be really interesting, but I think that we do have a big enough squad, and I think this is the biggest squad that we're going to have in the Pep era now. We all know that Pep loves a small squad, and at the minute we have so many different players who are in the last year, etc. So the depth at the minute is probably the best it's going to be for the foreseeable, really. So now's the time to really put that fixture run on. But the one thing we do need to really avoid here is an injury to. You can't have an injury to Haaland or someone like that. You just can't. And obviously Pep's seen this run coming. He sort of expected this, as you said. He was rested against Leeds, rested against Newcastle. I can probably see him being rested against West Ham as well.
Yeah.
And all managing minutes, I can see a lot of players now that will start dropping in and out for this next run, which is absolutely stupid. But yeah, look, we have the squad to deal with it. We have the quality to deal with it, and let's see how we cope.
Yeah, definitely. Next up, then, it is time for our score predictions. This is a tactical chess match between Arbeloa and Guardiola. Madrid's home record in the Champions League is strong, as they've been beaten in only 3 of their last 25, but they've lost their last 4 Champions League games against English teams. City have only won 2 of our last 8 at the Bernabeu, but did win in December. I expect goals with both teams to score being the norm between these two sides. Madrid are depleted, as City are hopefully refreshed after resting players at the weekend and are in form at the minute. I think we edge it with our momentum and that win at the Bernabeu in December. So I'm going to say it's going to be the same scoreline as that game. I'm going to say City take a slender 2-1 lead back to the Etihad next week. What about yourself, Dan?
Yeah, I'm the same as you. I can see it being quite a tense affair in that first half, especially. I can see it being level for quite a while, but I can see us pulling away towards the end with a couple of late goals, and I'm going to go 3-1 with. I'm going to call. Yeah, I'll call it. I'll go Haaland will open the scoring with a fairly decent goal average, and I can see I can see them getting back in it with one, like a wonder strike from Gula or someone like that.
Yeah.
And then I can see Marmoush coming on and getting the 2 late goals in the 80th minute or whatever, and
hopefully,
run away with it. It should be perfect, but it never goes perfectly with City. So
no.
You know.
Yeah, definitely. That is it for this one then. Of course, we'll be back with a review in the next couple of days. And then at the weekend, it's West Ham away. So the fixtures are coming thick and fast again after having 2 midweeks off in a row recently. So, you look to the breaks and then you end up having 5 or 6 games within the space of a couple of weeks. That's just football nowadays for you. That is it for this video, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell as well. And we'll see you in the next one. Come on, City.